And I told them everything.
Answer me, stag sang. Don't cry, Della. Everything will be all right.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We're taking one perfect short story, O. Henry's The Gift of the Magi, and looking at it through the lens of how it reaches us today specifically, the Project Gutenberg ebook version.
That's right. So our mission here is kind of twofold. First, we really want to dig into the story itself.
Yeah.
Get past just the famous twist ending,
Yeah, I really understand the grit.
Exactly. We're talking about the poverty Jim and Della face, the real weight of their sacrifices, and what O. Henry is actually saying about wisdom. It's maybe not what you first think.
And then the second layer, we pivot. We look at the platform, Project Gutenberg, this amazing nonprofit engine that keeps this story, and thousands like it. Completely free for everyone.
It's a fascinating connection, isn't it? A story about ultimate sacrifice for love delivered through a system built on a different kind of sacrifice for knowledge access.
Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, the setup, scarcity and pride.
O. Henry doesn't waste time. Bam! Right at the start. $1.87. That was all. That's Della's entire Christmas budget.
And it's not just the amount, it's how she got it. 60 cents of that was in pennies. Pennies saved over months by, what does he call it, bulldozing? The grocer, the butcher?
Bulldozing. It sounds almost aggressive, doesn't it? Like she had to fight for every single cent. It implies this constant grinding struggle just to exist.
And the emotional toll. That line about her cheeks burned with the silent imputation of parsimony.
Parsimony, meaning extreme cheapness, basically. She felt judged, ashamed, every time she had to haggle, every time she counted out those pennies.
So that $1.87, it's not just cash. It's like a symbol of her daily humiliation.
Absolutely. And this is all happening in their home, this furnished flat. $8 a week.
$8. And Jim's only making $20 a week at this point. That's what, 40% of his income just for rent?
40%. For a place that sounds pretty rundown. Henry gives us these details. The mailbox downstairs is too small for letters. The doorbell button is broken.
It's like the apartment itself is failing them, mirroring their finances.
Right. And there's this lingering ghost of better times, too. The nameplate, Mr. James Dillingham Young.
Ah, yes, the Dillingham. Chosen when he was making $30 a week. Kind of grand, wasn't it? Flung to the breeze, the text says.
But now with only $20 coming in, that fancy middle name feels heavy. They're thinking about just shortening it to a simple D.
Wow. Even their name is shrinking under the financial pressure. It makes their pride seem almost painful.
But amidst all this shabbiness, all this lack, they have two things, two treasures that anchor their pride, their sense of self-worth.
Okay, the famous possessions. First, Jim's gold watch.
Yep. Not just any watch, a family heirloom. Passed down from his father and his grandfather before him. It represents connection, history, stability. Everything they currently lack.
It connects him to a more secure past, maybe a more prosperous one.
Exactly. And then there's Della's hair.
Oh, the hair. This description is incredible.
Isn't it? Oh, Henry goes all out. A cascade of brown waters, rippling, shining, reaching below her knee, so thick it's almost a garment. It's her defining feature, her beauty, her wealth, really.
And the way the narrator talks about their value. It's not just personal pride. He uses these wild comparisons.
Totally over the top, but deliberately so. He needs to elevate these items beyond just things. He says Della's hair would make the Queen of Sheba jealous of her jewels.
Right. Make her jewels seem cheap, basically.
And Jim's watch. If King Solomon, the wisest king ever, was the building's janitor, seeing Jim's watch would make him pluck at his beard from envy.
So why use these huge, almost mythical figures? Queen of Sheba, King Solomon.
Because it sets the stage. It tells you, the reader, that selling these things isn't just like pawning some stuff. It's a sacrifice of something legendary, something almost sacred in their little world.
Ah, I see. It raises the stakes dramatically so when the inevitable happens.
The emotional impact is massive. If it was just a nice watch and long hair, the ending would be sad. But because they're framed as these near-mythical treasures, the ending becomes about profound wisdom and folly.
Okay, so that sets the scene. Now, Della's decision. Section 2.
It starts with despair, right? She finishes counting the money, sees how little it is, and just collapses onto the couch and howls. Pure misery.
But it doesn't last long. The need to get Jim a worthy present.
Yeah.
It shifts something in her.
It's incredibly fast. One moment, howling despair. The next, O. Henry says, her eyes were shining brilliantly. She has an idea, a sudden resolve.
And where does this happen? In front of that sad little mirror, the pier glass.
Oh, that description is perfect. So bleakly funny. A thin mirror where only a very thin and very agile person could see their full reflection in narrow strips.
Even seeing yourself properly is a luxury they can't afford. Yet this is where she makes her monumental decision.
She lets down her hair, that cascade, looks at it one last time in that fragmented reflection, and then, boom, no hesitation. Puts on her old brown jacket, her old brown hat, and she's out the door.
Fluttering out, it says, straight to Madame Sofroni. Hair goods of all kinds.
And Madame Sofroni. She's described as large, too white, chilly, almost inhuman, purely business. No sentimentality there.
Della asks, will you buy my hair?
Madame Sofroni barely looks, just lifts the mass, weighs it professionally, and says, $20.
$20. For the hair that outshines the Queen of Sheba's jewels. Seems harsh.
It's brutal market reality crashing against poetic value. But Della doesn't blink. She just says, give it to me quick.
Quick, like she's afraid she'll change her mind if she waits even a second.
Exactly. The emotional urgency is palpable. So now she has the $20 from the hair, plus her original $1.87, $21.87.
And the next 2 hours. Pure shopping bliss. Trip by on rosy wings, the narrator says. She's ransacking the stores for the perfect gift for Jim.
This isn't just shopping, it's a mission. She's trying to find an object that can somehow contain the sheer volume of her love and sacrifice.
And she finds it. The platinum fob chain.
Perfect choice, symbolically. O. Henry emphasizes its design. Simple and chaste, not flashy. Its value comes from substance alone, not meretricious ornamentation.
Like Jim himself, maybe. Quiet value, not showy.
I think that's definitely the implication. It reflects the kind of man he is, or the man she sees him as. Solid, understated worth.
And the cost nails the sacrifice. $21.
Exactly $21, which means she used all the hair money plus almost all of her painstakingly saved $1.87. She's left with just 87 cents.
She literally gave everything she had, physically and financially, for this chain.
And it's practical too, or seems to be. His beautiful watch only had an old leather strap. This chain would let him pull it out proudly in any company. It completes the watch, gives it the setting it deserves.
The setup is complete. The collision course is set.
Okay. Section 3. The collision. The irony starts to bite.
Della gets home. And that shopping high, it starts to wear off. Intoxication gave way a little to prudence and reason, O. Henry writes. She looks in the mirror.
And reality hits. She gets out the curling irons to try and fix the damage, the ravages made by generosity added to love.
Generosity added to love. What a phrase.
Isn't it? But the result of her frantic curling is, well, not great. Tiny, close-lying curls. She looks, the narrator says, wonderfully like a truant schoolboy.
Oof. From a mystical cascade of beauty to a runaway schoolboy. That's rough.
It's devastating, and she knows it. Her prayer is heartbreaking. Please, God, make him think I am still pretty. She understands the gamble she's taken. Her beauty was her main asset, and she traded it for love.
Then 7 o'clock hits. Jim arrives. Always on time. And now Henry quickly reminds us, Jim's only 22.
22. And already burdened with a family. Thin, serious, needs a new overcoat, doesn't have gloves. His poverty is just as real as Della's, maybe even more starkly presented in that moment.
And his reaction when he sees her, it's the core of the story's immediate tension. He just stops.
Stops dead. As immovable as a setter at the scent of quail, he just stares.
And Della's terrified because she can't read his expression. It's not anger, it's not surprise, it's not disapproval or horror. It's just this fixed, peculiar stare.
That blankness is worse than anger, isn't it? Because she doesn't know what it means. If he was mad, she could argue, plead. If he was shocked, maybe she could explain. But this unreadable expression.
It feels like he's seeing something beyond just the haircut. Like he's processing a deeper, more fundamental problem.
Exactly. It's the look of someone whose carefully laid plans have just imploded. It forces Della to break the silence. She scrambles off the table, launches into her explanation.
You'll look at me that way? I had my hair cut off and sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present.
She tries to reassure him, reassure herself. Maybe it'll grow out again. My hair grows awfully fast.
But Jim seems almost slow to react. He asks, kind of numbly, you've cut off your hair, like he needs confirmation of the obvious.
He asks again, you say your hair is gone. Looking around the room almost, O. Henry writes, as if he had not arrived at the Batten fact yet. He's not just processing the visual shock.
He's processing the implication of the haircut, given what he knows, what he's done.
Precisely. Della keeps trying to bridge the gap, bringing up her love. Maybe the hairs of my head were numbered, she says, quoting the Bible, but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the chops on, Jim? Trying to return to normalcy.
But the tension is still thick. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. What is behind that stare?
Which brings us to section 4, the reveal.
Jim finally snaps out of his trance. And the first thing he does is reassure her about her looks.
Yes, he pulls her close and says basically nothing like a haircut could make him love his girl any less. It's a crucial moment of affirmation. He might be reeling from the irony, but his love isn't shaken.
Phew. Okay, so it's not about finding her unattractive. Then what?
Then he pulls out a package, throws it on the table, and tells her, "Don't make any mistake, Dell, about me, but if you'll unwrap that package, you may see why you had me going a while at first."
And Della tears it open, and her reaction is wild.
It's pure O. Henry! An ecstatic scream of joy instantly followed by a quick feminine change to hysterical tears and wails.
Why the whiplash? What's in the package?
The combs, capital T, capital C, the set she'd admired for ages in a Broadway shop window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell with jeweled rim.
Oh no, the perfect accessory.
For the beautiful vanished hair. Utterly, tragically useless now.
Devastating. The dream gift, achieved at the exact moment, it becomes pointless because of her gift to him.
She hugs him to her chest, manages to look up, smile through her tears, and repeat her hopeful mantra. My hair grows so fast, Jim.
But she doesn't dwell on it. She remembers her gift. She jumps up, holding out the fog chain.
Henry calls her a little singed cat. Here, a nod to her frizzy curled hair. She holds out the platinum chain, that dull, precious metal, wanting him to put it on his watch immediately. Isn't it a dandy, Jim? I hunted all over town to find it. You'll have to look the time 100 times a day now. She's so eager for her sacrifice to be validated, to see it used.
But Jim doesn't reach for the chain. He doesn't take out his watch.
What does he do?
He just collapses onto the couch, tumbles down, puts his hands behind his head, and smiles. A knowing, weary smile, maybe.
And then he says it.
Yep. Dell, he says, let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them a while. They're too nice to use just at present. And then the final line. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs.
Boom. There it is. The perfect, symmetrical, heartbreaking irony.
Both treasures sacrificed. Both gifts rendered completely useless by the reciprocal sacrifice. The chain has no watch. The combs have no hair. Materially, they are ruined.
And this is where O. Henry steps in directly, right? As the narrator.
Yes. He pauses the action. He tells the reader, essentially, let's put the story on hold for 10 seconds, look away, and then he poses that question. $8 a week or $1 million a year? What is the difference? Implying that money, the amount, is irrelevant to what just happened.
Exactly. He says a mathematician or a witty person would give you the wrong answer. They'd calculate the financial loss, the practical stupidity, but O. Henry is pointing towards a different kind of calculation altogether.
Which leads us straight into the final section, defining true wisdom, section 5.
Right. So the narrator's first assessment seems harsh. He calls them two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house.
He acknowledges the practical folly. From a purely logical standpoint, it was a terrible exchange.
Absolutely. And knowing O. Henry's own background adds a layer here. William Sidney Porter, his real name, actually served time in prison for embezzlement before he became a famous writer.
Seriously, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he knew about financial desperation, bad decisions, the consequences of, well, unwise choices with money. He wasn't writing about poverty from an ivory tower.
Wow. Okay, so when he calls them foolish, it comes with some personal authority on the subject of financial mistakes.
Definitely. But then he immediately pivots. He brings in the Magi, the original wise men from the Christmas story.
The ones who brought gifts to the baby Jesus in the manger.
Precisely. He calls them wonderfully wise men who invented the art of giving Christmas presents. And then he adds this little wink.
Ah, the bit about exchange.
Yeah, he muses that maybe their gifts, being wise, came with the privilege of exchange in case of duplication. A little joke acknowledging Jim and Della maybe should have coordinated better.
Right. A practical tip from the wise men they failed to follow.
But he moves past that practical failure instantly, because the final judgment, the core message of the story is this. Despite the folly, despite the useless gifts, of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest.
Wisest,
Yeah.
after calling them foolish.
Exactly. He repeats it for emphasis. Of all who give and receive gifts such as they are wisest, everywhere they are wisest, they are the Magi.
So wisdom isn't about practical outcomes or financial gain. It's entirely redefined here.
Completely. Wisdom, in O. Henry's view here, is measured by the depth of love and the willingness to sacrifice everything for that love. The treasure wasn't the watch or the hair. The treasure was the act of giving itself.
The material value became zero. The combs were worthless. The chain was worthless in that moment.
But the intent behind them, the selfless love that fueled the sacrifice, that had infinite value. And that is what makes them the wisest. That's what elevates them to the status of the Magi.
It's a powerful countercultural definition of value, even today.
It really is. And that definition of value, of selfless giving, connects beautifully to how we're even reading this story today. Which brings us to the meta dive. Project Gutenberg, Section 6.
Right, so O. Henry gives us this profound story about sacrifice in 1905. But why can you, the listener, just go online right now and read it for free? That's thanks to Project Gutenberg.
And Project Gutenberg itself is a story of a different kind of generosity. It was started way back in 1971 by Michael Hart. 1971.
Wow, that's ancient in internet terms, pre-internet, really.
Basically, yeah. He had access to significant computing time at the University of Illinois, and he had this vision. He thought the greatest value computers could bring wasn't just calculation, but storing and distributing literature and knowledge, making it accessible to everyone.
So what was the very first text he digitized?
The U.S. Declaration of Independence.
Huh. That feels significant. A foundational text about freedom becoming the first free digital text.
I think it was absolutely intentional, setting the tone for the whole project. And this specific version of The Gift of the Magi we're referencing, Project Gutenberg ebook, #7256, was released January 1st, 2005.
And the reason it can be offered freely is crucial. Copyright.
Exactly. The story is in the public domain in the United States and most other places. That means its copyright has expired. It belongs to everyone now.
So Project Gutenberg can copy it, format it, and distribute it with, as our license says, at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever.
It's the digital commons. But maintaining that commons, digitizing thousands of books, proofreading them, keeping the website running, that takes effort.
Human effort. And presumably money.
Right. It runs on the work of hundreds, maybe thousands of volunteers over the years, and on financial donations. The whole thing is managed by the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, PGLAF. It's a registered nonprofit, a 501c3.
Their entire mission is just keeping these books free forever.
Pretty much. Which leads to the really interesting part, how they handle commercial use of their work. It's tucked away in the license agreement.
Okay, so I can download it for free. But what if I wanted to sell this Project Gutenberg version?
Well, that's where it gets clever. Project Gutenberg texts are free, but the name Project Gutenberg is trademarked. If you want to sell their formatted proofread ebook and use their trusted brand name on it,
There are conditions.
bingo. Section 1.E.8 of the license lays it out. If you charge money for an ebook using the Project Gutenberg trademark, you must pay a royalty fee.
How much?
20%. 20% of the gross profits you make from that work has to be paid back to the PGLAF.
20%. That's
Free.
quite a chunk. But wait, this is brilliant.
Isn't it? They can't charge for the public domain content, but they can charge for the use of their trademark, which represents all that volunteer labor, the proofreading, the formatting, the trust.
So they're essentially saying, look, we did all this work for free for the public good. If you're going to piggyback on our work and our reputation to make a profit, you need to contribute back to the system that makes it possible.
Precisely. It's a way to fund the ongoing nonprofit mission by capturing a slice of the commercial value that others derive from their efforts. It's a sustainable model that doesn't restrict free access for individuals.
And the license has other user-friendly aspects too, right? Refunds.
Yeah, it's very pro-consumer, which fits their mission. If someone pays for a PG trademarked ebook and then decides they don't agree with the license terms, the seller has to give them a full refund within 30 days of being notified.
And they guarantee the quality of the digital file itself.
For paid versions using the trademark, yes. If the electronic file is defective, the seller has to provide either a refund or a replacement within 90 days. They stand by the quality of the work their volunteers produce, even when it enters a commercial space.
So Project Gutenberg is like a modern digital Magi, in a way. It survives through collective generosity, volunteers giving time, donors giving money, and commercial users giving back a share to keep the gift flowing.
That's a great way to put it. It mirrors the story's theme. The gift of knowledge is sustained by acts of collective sacrifice and carefully structured reciprocity.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Outro time.
So, reflecting on this deep dive, O. Henry's story masterfully twists our understanding of value, doesn't it? The material stuff, the watch, the combs, the $21 chain becomes worthless in practical terms.
Yeah, instantly negated by circumstance.
But the intent, the selfless love, the willingness to give up one's most prized possession, O. Henry declares that as the highest wisdom. That's what makes Jim and Della the Magi.
And then we see this parallel structure in Project Gutenberg. The incredible gift of free access to human knowledge is itself sustained by, well, a form of selfless giving, volunteer hours, donations.
And that clever royalty system, ensuring that even commercial use helps fund the core mission of free access for everyone. It's a kind of wisdom in action, ensuring the gift endures.
It really connects.
Yeah.
The story about sacrificing treasures is preserved and shared by a system built on its own kind of treasures being shared freely.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About what we value.
Absolutely. And that leads us to our final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about Jim and Della, who unwisely, yet wisely, sacrificed their greatest treasures. What are the modern treasures in your own life?
Maybe it's not a gold watch or beautiful hair. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's a career goal. Maybe it's even, I don't know, digital status or assets, things you hold on to tightly.
So the question is, are there any treasures you're clinging to whose perceived value might be preventing you from making a truly meaningful, maybe even unwise, sacrifice for connection, for love, for a gift that matters on a deeper level? What's your equivalent of the watch or the hair, and is its price worth more than the giving?